Perfect.
This meeting is being recorded.
Perfect. Perfect. I totally agree with you. That is true. So it's your choice. How are you going to start your morning? Whether you're going to start your morning with what we call a miracle morning, or are you going just to start your day randomly without planning for that? So in the comparison, we found that the first guy, once he just wake up on time, he had a moment of silence. He had his own affirmations, talking positively to him own self. He visualized his day. He had his to-do list. Then he had healthy food, definitely, with exercise, with being excited. He was trying to as if he was reading the book because he had no time. Then he went through audiobook. Of course, we do have a traffic in front of us, but rather just listening randomly to anything, I know what I want in my life. And then once I'm at work, I'm focusing on my goals. I'm trying to see what things that I had to do today. And then based on what I have, I'm going to plan how I'm going to achieve that. And based of my, of course, my capability, my body, how am I going to give maybe 20 minutes to this task, and after that 10 minutes, being flexible, do it in time, but at the same time, be flexible. Don't be lazy when you're at work. Definitely you shouldn't be with those other activities that are not necessarily nor important. It's just waste of time. Say that guy, just he woke up, the only thing that he did, he was just eating snacks, unhealthy diets, going to the work, opening different social media platforms, playing, chatting, talking to everyone. No achievement, no accomplishment in life. He just wasted his time. He had no plans of visiting friends, enjoying. Okay, you're enjoying your life. That is good, but plan for your enjoyment. Plan what you exactly want. So once we actually know what we want, how I'm going to turn this morning to a miracle morning, I have to work on habits. I have to pick those habits that I want to practice, making a sequence of what I want, and then by time that will be a habit. Like, all right, I'm going to read whatever I want to read after I just have this cup of coffee. Not just I'm going to say it, but in fact, I will do it. I will sit with myself. I will work with myself. It take a little bit time. It take a little bit effort. It actually needs energy. I won't dream achieving things without actual steps, right? But the thing is that I have to take the action. I should be brave. And once that guy, he just woke up, he did not forget to drink his water. Uh, just, I mean, smell or take oxygen, fresh air, reading. That will active your brain. You will active your body. Take a shower, but not with hot water all the time. Cold water is a good option for yourself, for your blood circulation. So the thing is, you don't have to run for 1 hour, but at least 10 minutes, 5 minutes, all right, if you feel lazy a little bit, or it is in the very first day, or at least 2 to 3 exercises that we can do, even if I'm really flexible with that exercise, that is good. So either it's push up, pull ups, dips, squats, jumping jacks, maybe quick shoulder workouts, maybe leg raises, whatever, bicycle, mountain climbers. So pick whatever you are happy with, you relax with. And then once you just do that, maybe 33 push-ups, maybe 20 push-ups, maybe even 10 push-ups, that will give you energy. Sit down with yourself. Have a vision for this day. Have a vision. Ask yourself, okay, what I have to do today. Tell to yourself, good morning, the best person in the life. Good morning, beautiful. You're successful. Mashallah. Mashallah. The world is beautiful. And then, how am I going to enjoy this day? How am I going to be more productive? The more that you ask in a positive way, the more your brain will give you answers. That is true. That is true. A lazy person, he forget also to wash the face. That is true. So washing your face, of course, while you wash your face, while you just brush your teeth, you are looking to yourself in the mirror. You're smiling to yourself. Don't forget, when you start your day, smile to yourself. If you just say, oh, another boring day, another hard day, see the message that you send to your brain will activate the whole day the way that you are programming yourself. It's NLP. We talked about placebo yesterday, and we talked about nocebo yesterday, right, ladies and gentlemen? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to myself with positive affirmation that are not only helping me to achieve my long-term goals, but they will also make me to take actions today. I know that I'm quite stressed today, but however, when I just keep talking to myself as if I am my own doctor, I am my own consultant, I am my own life coach, my own mentor. So by that, not only just of course you have to have your own frame, I mean, what you call maybe mantra. I have to direct my questions, like what I want to do today, what do I want, and then why do I want it. When you ask yourself why, now what is, you just defining who are you, where are you, where do you want to be, what is that thing, and why it is important. Why would you like to be there? When you recall the importance, when you recognize them, when you understand them, then as if you put the fuel that will drive you to that way. I was to okay. I deserve to be happy because I deserve to be happy. That is something that I really deserve. Then my brain will lead me to happiness. Not only happiness, because happiness is inside you when you feel, but to those actions that will keep you even happier. And then ask yourself, what am I committed to doing in order to get there? When I'm going to ask myself about those steps and what actions I'm going to take today to move forward, here I'm going to be more specific and a little bit I mean precise. Where should I be there? And then again, when you just wake up, let's just sit with ourselves in a moment of silence. And that could be your prayer, or you just your spiritual life. Maybe you're talking to yourself, or maybe you're practicing an exercise, or maybe you're just breathing in and breathing out. Inhalation, meditation. Definitely meditation will help us a lot, because when you inhale, for instance, for 3 seconds and then exhale for 3 seconds, and so far and so forth, then that will help us our okay, that will help us in quality of our thoughts altogether. And then ladies and gentlemen, it's not just only that I took those oxygen and I'm now feeling that I'm mashallah more active. We have to read, we have to write down our notes, because when you write down your notes, that will help you to achieve more. And you never know, you might become an author by time. You will organize your ideas, you will organize your thoughts, and so far and so forth, all together. So there you will have your miracle day, inshallah. Then read for 10 minutes. Remember, if you're not able to read because you don't have time, then the best option is to go through your audiobooks. Or sometimes, if you don't have the time also to read, you just want to make sure to write down anything, it is more than okay. But reading, exercising, reciting your affirmations, of course, practicing silence a little bit, meditation, or just sitting or taking a cold shower, or at least watching or seeing actually the nature in front of sea, maybe to the beach or anything. Visualize your day, visualize your day, and mind map it if you can do that. Imagine yourself working on them. Pick specific spot to do this at. Write into, I mean, list 3 things that you're grateful. or use one sentence to make sure that you're ready to go for this day. Take care of your own self. Like sometimes it is okay for 25 minutes to take a break, or take 30 minutes at least when you just wake up to practice your day or to start your day. A happier day, inshallah, and at the same time more active, more energetic, ready, prepared, and you will have, inshallah, a better quality life for this day. Yes, this is the point. We have to make plan for a day to raise awareness for people who are around. Thank you so much, Mr. Yusri. You are definitely right. So now I want everyone just to open your Slido. All right, just have an access to Slido. With your another device, just make sure that you scan the QR code and the question will start in front of you. Here's the question. Why can't we manage our time effectively? Why can't we manage our time? Though that we know about time management, but why? What are those obstacles that are deterring us, preventing us from achieving what actually we want? Like, I do have a plan, but I'm not able to implement it, or sometimes I'm not able to manage my time. Discuss the reasons. Either if you'd like to, you're most welcome to say, to practice, to participate by just talking. And for those who'd like to write down, please don't forget to mention your name and talk about those obstacles. Sometimes it is us, sometimes maybe not us, maybe other circumstances. There is a lot of distraction, mainly the social media. All right, don't forget to mention your name. Welcome, Christita. All right, there is a lot of, okay. We allow distractions over our priorities. So it means that we are quite weak. We cannot resist our desires, maybe, and sometimes, some toxic friends. Perfect. So I just make sure that you write down your names. So once you write it down, I'm able to talk to the person, or just mark that for you, giving you the bonus for it. All right. If we have toxic friends, definitely we have to apologize and learn how to say no to them. All right. And we have to be very picky about our friendships. I'm not going to be, see, you do have colleagues and you have friends, and there are differences between them. Colleagues, I'm working together with them. That is great. That is perfect. Some colleagues could be a good friend, but it does not mean, it's not a must that all of your colleagues are definitely your friend. Yes, though in your organization, it's like a big house, a big family. That is true. But I'm really sure that you know that you have your own personal life and your career life, and we have to have a balance between those two lives. Sometimes when you are walking to the mall with your family and you meet your colleague from work and you are happy, but it does not mean that you have to share everything to that colleague, with that person. So with toxic friends, we have to know who is my friend, why I'm having this friendship, this relationship with that person. I have to know that I worth to have good friends. If I do have toxic friends, I have to think about how to Kaizen my relationship. And we talked about Kaizen yesterday. We said, how am I going to eliminate the waste, or at least reduce the waste in my energy and my efforts in my relationships and toxic Relationships are one of those spots that we have to tackle, and we have to release, and we have to reduce, and we have to eliminate, at least as far as we can, those toxic relationships by just speaking clearly, spreading out. Just I mean, what is there? Just split it in front of them and in a diplomatic way. That, sorry, I'm busy, I have things to do. And even if you're going to blame me that, oh, I did not attend that party, I have to be very punctual. I ask them, okay, for how long this party will be? 2 hours? Then I will be for 1 hour, inshallah. I'll join you for 1 hour or 30 minutes. That is not only for I mean, you will be healthy person. What I mean by health is not only your physical health, but also the quality of your life. Healthy could be your money health, could be your relationships healthy, it could be your mind health, and so forth and so forth. So just know how to say, learn just how to say no. That will help us a lot. Now, distraction over priorities. It means that I have to know that there are ways that I'm going to manage myself in order to achieve my goals. Number one is the system of a self motivation, or let's just say that I know what I want. These are my objectives, my goals, my visions, my dream of life. So once I remember what I want and why do I want, that will drive me to do it. But however, I'm a human being, I'm not a machine. Even machine needs to have some break. But I have to go through the second system, which is relaxation. But remember, the human brain like tends to be lazy a little bit. You would like to be in that system for longer time, because that is we once I just get the habit of doing nothing and just relaxing and enjoying, then I would resist and be reluctant to go back to my work. Why? Because I just enjoyed this situation. So here you have to remind yourself about the consequences. I mean, for example, one of my students, I give her the time, 1 month, to send her report to me. But once 30 days are done, I have to remind them by an email that if you did not submit your report today before 12 midnight, then I'm going to deduct 5 marks from your report. When I'm going to, of course, threaten is not the right solution for every time or all situation, but in most of situations, what we call transactional leadership. What is transactional leadership? If you did what I want from you, then I'm going to reward you. Otherwise, you have to face the music. There are consequences for that. So for that student, when I send this email to her, she will just go through it and read it, and she feel, oops, that is a sign of fear. Then if I did not submit it today, if I won't submit it today, then I'm going to fail maybe the subject, or 5 marks will be deducted. So that lady, the one who spent 5 or 10 minutes, mashallah, as if she's the superwoman, she could do the same job within 30 days. But when she got that message, the threatened message, she became like a superwoman. She has now more energy to do it, because fear, angry, all of them are energy, but you're going to lead yourself. So sometimes if I have a lazy employee, if I'm going to warn that person once, then as if I just came to him, to his comfort zone, I tackle, I say, see, you won't be secure. He will feel insecure, definitely. You won't be secure anymore because you did such and such and such. Then these are the consequences. Then he will feel, okay, the fear by own self will make some discipline in our life. So you got that point. So sometimes if I'm finding myself that I'm not able to fight myself, or to be the winner. Of course, my brain sometimes over there is a monkey inside us. Not a monkey. I mean, there is a beast inside us that would like always to be pampered, to be spoiled, to enjoy, not to work, to escape from real life, to have that imaginarily world. So in order to have the balance, definitely we have to be very strong, well mentored, and drive. You are the one who is driving yourself. All right. And then failing to set goal or priorities, that is true. So we have to, and what we're going to do today is to watch those videos about how should I prioritize my life, my time, my goals, everything. Because even goals, we have priorities, because I have different goals, but when I'm going to implement this goal at work, I do have different goals, my career goals. Maybe at gym, I have goals for my health. I might have financial goals. I might have social goals. I might have academic goals. I might have my own personal goals. I might have family goal, and so far and so forth. So I should know at what time I have to work on this goal. It could be, of course, tiny goals. We're talking about smarter goals. Tomorrow in detail, we will discuss about smarter and positive and smart goals, inshallah. Afnan says because of negative energy, but you know, Afnan, that 80% or 70% of that negative energy is from us, not only from the environment. There is a rule of 90-20, 90-10%. 90-10%, what is this rule? That means that 90% of incidents in our life is not in our hands. For instance, today I woke up and I have my beautiful wife, my 3 children, and my family, and I'm enjoying my breakfast with them. And my baby girl, she just came to me and she wanted to hug me, but by mistake, she just dropped a cup of my cup of tea on my clothes. All right, and then what am I going to do? How am I going to react? I will give you a scenario. I'm going to scream at her mom, at everyone, and start yelling and start saying that you're loser, take your daughter. And I will search about alternative clothes. Maybe my kandura is not ironed and straight yet. Maybe it's not clean. Maybe I did not make bukhur in my home. So I will start fighting with my wife and saying, of course not me. I'm giving situation of a man. Like, look, I hate this family. I hate my life. And then I go and start opening my car, and the car door is jammed. Somehow it's just hang, and I am not able to open it. And then I fought with my car, and then I opened the car, and then I just started driving. I find myself in a traffic jam. I'm not able to arrive at work on time. And then once I arrive and I have that stress and anxiety, I find a colleague, a troublemaker colleague, who is asking me, why are you late? Who's blaming me? Who's trying to dig polls for me? And then maybe the way that I'm going to um, express my negative energy, it will impact my colleagues. Maybe my boss by mistake will come to me and caught me that day where I'm feeling not only blue, I'm out of my mind. All right, see, the scenario is not ending up to here. You spoil your day. You are not able to be focus in this day. It's not only you. In case if your wife is working, maybe she just go at her workplace. She is crying. She's talking to her friends. Her friends are not able to work. The productivity is even less. And then they are trying to advise her to go and make to sue you, or just claim a divorce, whatever to see. And not only here, ladies and gentlemen, your children, huh? Maybe when, imagine maybe one of your children just go to school and feel really, unbalanced, not stable, not being able to focus because he is scared, and his friends are trying to talk to him, but he's shy. He's not able to absorb any of those information he's learning. Maybe another child is trying to project his anger into other students by sign of being bully person. Baby, your baby, that little girl, now there is no trust between you and her. You broke that bond of trust between you and her. So see what happened in this scenario, ladies and gentlemen. Let me ask you, what happened? What is the only unwanted incident that appeared in this scenario? What was the thing that was not in your hand? in this story? Let me ask you, tell me. So in this story, in this scenario, what was the thing that was unwanted, that you had no power, no authority to manage it? You don't have the power to go to a time machine and bring those 5 or 10 or 20 minutes back to stop that incident. What was the unwanted incident in this story, this scenario? The unwanted incident was when your baby just came and by mistake and accidentally she poured the coffee in you. She split the cup of coffee in your clothes. That was the 10% of unwanted incident. But the rest of 90%, it was your action, your reaction. Because from your reaction, you created another action. You could say that, my beautiful baby, you started my day with the flavor of coffee. Wow, today is going to be amazing day. Wow, that is a blessing. It could be a good sign. I might get good news today. It's okay. You will bring your wipes. You will just wipe it. You will clean it. You have alternative kandora shirts, whatever. Just go to the work today and feel everything is fine. Relax. You won't hurt your wife, you won't hurt yourself, you won't let that monster come outside of you, because you're a human being, you're a good and nice gentleman, you're not a monster. Your children will be healthy and fine and happy, and well, they will start their day with having the love surrounding by love of the family, and that will help them to focus more, to achieve more, and to learn and to study even better. So see it as you, the one who is deciding. The 10% of incidents around you could be negative, unwanted, disasters, because this destiny. Sometimes it's I'm just a human being. I have to deal with those challenges in my life, those obstacles. I cannot prevent those obstacles 100%, because in one step or another stage in my life, I'm facing those obstacles every time. But the question is, how am I going to react? How am I going to put my own flavor to those incidents to have a best experience, or a good experience at least? So that is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Negative energies are around us. I could be, when my daughter pushed me, yeah, the negative energy, either it's me, my thoughts, or someone else. But I have to stop those, or I have to replace those negative energy by positive thoughts. All right. We're disorganized and haven't established a habit of organizing. That is true, Jason. And what is the solution for that? Is to push yourself a little bit with a hard and smart work. At the same time, it's not just I'm doing this task or this habit, or I'm practicing this skill today only. No, just wait for it with having the both being passionate about and patient at the same time. You will see the results, inshallah, the fruitful results. We are not able to manage our time because of laziness. So it means that we have to fight that laziness that is inside of us. The hugest, the biggest battle in the entire the world is when you defeat that laziness that is inside of you. When you defeat it, when you are you have the victory among your own self. Social media, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. Again, you forgot to write down your name, but that is true, and we talked about it. Lack of planning, that is true, and therefore we have to plan, but stay with your plan. At least if you're not a robot to do everything, 90% of your plans, 80% of your plans, 70% of that, it is okay. Be flexible, but at least you have to have your plan. At least you have to have your own system, your own routine. If you want to be flexible with the routine, first bring that routine to you, and then modify your routine. Lack of planning. So you know what is the alternative solution for that? Use of gadget, more time, leaving the rest of duties and tasks. So see, sometimes we are delaying things. Sometimes, I mean, when you are uh, procrastination by its own self, it's a matter that we're going to tackle just in moments about that. Take single decision, not leasing the other. That is true, Mr. Yusri. See, when you're talking about making decisions and achieving it, don't chop what you're not able to fill your mouth with, little by little. Tiny. Time is wasted mainly due to choosing bad decision. All right, making bad decision, that is true. So, you know, Christia, what is the alternative? Because sometimes we are lazy. We've talked about that. The person he knows everything, but we need training all time you. All right. See, again, I don't know what is the name of the person who'd answer. That is true. We have to learn at the same time. If I want to learn, tomorrow we will talk about Johari window, which is very strong tool to let us know that there are points that we are missing, a blind point maybe that I'm not aware about, but people can see it and they will give me the feedback, and I have to accept that. I have to know that I need to improve myself, but at the same time, it does not mean that anyone who's projecting their own psychological issues among you or their own thoughts among you, you have to accept that. You have to be prepared, understand yourself, and see where are the areas that actually need to work on, but work first on those strength points, and then later off and some weakness points. I think that the main obstacle of not managing our time correctly is because we haven't set our goals perfect, or that we don't have enough ambition. We're not ambitious to reach those goals. If you want to achieve something, you'll find time for it. So I don't think time management is the issue, but your mind, perfect. And that was you know, when we started our day, our presentation, we said, I cannot manage the time, but I have to manage myself. I can manage myself. The time is just running. It's a scary stories. You cannot touch the time. You cannot hold the time. And you have to manage yourself. You have to program yourself. I think that the main obstacle of not managing our time correctly is because, okay, Drake is perfect. Thank you so much. Lack of okay, so priorities, Vinod, to work as a routine, useless steps, lack of, okay, Vinod, that is perfect. All right, so thank you so much. Now we are done with this video, alhamdulillah. Let us just watch this video, and then after that we will talk and discuss together. Today I wrote those videos for you that are not only about the topic, but also will let us think about other things. What if in case if it happened, about future foresight, about I mean, let's just think deeply. So I ask you to bring your coffee, cup of water, your tea, hot chocolate, your popcorn, your snack, your sandwich, and enjoy it. Let's just think differently, and we will take notes because you're going to send today's achievement and today's assessment by email to me. What we've discussed so far and what we are discussing, that is something to be noticed. Great. Okay. Tamam, Mr. Yusri. Yalla, bismillah.
How do you distinguish between past, present, and future? Is there really an order?
All right. So see, I will, since this is in speed 2, I will tell you one thing about myself. I usually watch things not in normal speed. Speed 2 is preferable by me, because that way my brain is working faster, boosting things even more. But now it's a normal speed, so let's just enjoy.
How do you distinguish between past, present, and future? Is there really an order to time? Does it only move forward? Does it move in any direction at all? Stop the clock. Abandon all assumptions and try to stay calm. This mind-blowing experiment will only take a few minutes, whatever that means. This is What If, and here's how time could be an illusion. In 1915, Albert Einstein published his general theory of relativity, which changed, changes, and will change the way we perceive time. In this groundbreaking theory, he proposed that the laws of physics are the same for all non-accelerating observers. This basically explains why, if you were to watch a car drive past you, you would interpret the car's passengers as moving at the same speed as the car, since their speed is relative to your position as an observer on still ground. Meanwhile, inside the car, the passengers feel like stationary objects, since their motion matches the car's motion relative to the outside world. But while Einstein's theory of relative motion could be applied to all objects in the universe, he also realized that one exception to relativity was light. Light always moves at a constant speed. These two principles led Einstein to conceive of a link between time and space, also known as space-time. And one of its tricky implications is that the perception of how time passes can be different between two observers depending on how much faster one is moving compared to the other. So, if it's possible for two observers to have two accurate perspectives of time's passing, but for those perspectives to be different, whose clock is right and whose is wrong? Oddly enough, they're both right. After all, the fact that different time zones exist are enough proof that your watch and someone's watch across the world will read different times every second of the day. We're inclined to think of the passing of time as objective or universal, since humans have all more or less agreed on the same system to organize our busy lives and to be on the same page with our neighbors, either next door or a few countries over. But while time is a convenient tool for keeping track of the past, present, and future, the true nature of time is trickier to grasp once you realize that the past, present, and future could all exist at once. When you look up at the sky, you might be able to point out Proxima Centauri. After the Sun, Proxima Centauri is the closest star to Earth, and it's only about 4 light years away. So the light you see now is actually 4 years old in our time. If Proxima Centauri exploded, we wouldn't know about it until 4 years later. That's because the speed of light is constant, no matter where you are in the universe. Another thing you need to know is, the faster you move, the slower time does. This explains how astronaut Scott Kelly spent a year in space and came back to Earth 13 milliseconds younger than his twin. Now, with these two examples, let's put an astronaut on a planet that's 4 light years away. That means his present is unfolding 4 years ahead of you. Anything you do now on Earth is already in his past. Put simply, the past, present, and future all exist at once. Now, before you have an existential crisis, there's a theory that might make living in the past, present, and future all at once a little easier. It's called moving spotlight theory, and it basically argues that there is only one absolute present, which changes moment by moment as if a spotlight is moving over it. So with that information, you can begin to see how the passage of time might be an illusion. There's no single objective past, objective present, or objective future. The illusion of time is crafted by our memories and our experiences and our upcoming plans, which help us organize our life into a neat sequence of events. But depending on where you are or how fast you're moving, that sequence will be very, very different. So whether you're new age or nostalgic, or if you just prefer the present moment, don't worry, there's a place for you somewhere in the universe. It might take you hundreds of years to get there, but if you move fast enough, you'll get there in no time. If you had a device designed to freeze time for everything but you, life wouldn't be anything like what you'd expect. You wouldn't catch up on sleep, or rob a bank while no one can stop you, or cheat on an exam. Instead, you'd be left blind, deaf, and unable to move a single muscle. How can time freezing go so wrong? This is What If, and here's what would happen if you could stop time. We know from physics that speed equals distance divided by time, and that time equals distance divided by speed. To make time equal 0, you'd have to travel indefinitely fast. And since we can't overcome the speed of light, stopping time without breaking the laws of physics is not going to be possible. But let's skip the improbabilities and imagine that time could be stopped somehow. What would happen then? Absolutely nothing. People would stop moving, water would stop running, every molecule would just stand still. You wouldn't even know that time had stopped, because your neurons wouldn't be moving either. Boring. So let's add a couple of modifications to our scenario. What if you were the one to hit the pause button? Oh, that wouldn't end up well for you. Not this time. The ability to freeze time comes with some very unpleasant side effects. First, you wouldn't see anything. That's because stopping time would stop photons, the particles of light normally moving at the speed of, well, light. You wouldn't hear anything either, because sound waves would stop traveling through the air to your eardrums. You'd be trapped in between the frozen molecules surrounding you, unable to lift a finger. It would get even worse once you realize that you can't force oxygen molecules down into your lungs. Blind, deaf, and asphyxiated, hopefully you could resume time before you passed out. To get around this quick and senseless end, we'll add another modification. This time, you'd be surrounded by a bubble, inside of which time would still be going. You'd also be able to time affect space around you. That would give you the ability to move and breathe. You still won't be able to hear anything outside of the bubble. And how about seeing? Well, you could move along and capture light from every direction, but your brain probably wouldn't be able to decode any of that information. Everything would be washed out. Not much fun either. So what if instead of stopping time, you just slowed it down significantly? Well, if you slowed down light, it would shift into the realm of infrared microwaves. And while it could reach your eyes, it would be invisible. Same thing goes for sound waves. They'd drop to a frequency below the range of human hearing. Time freezing isn't that practical after all. Maybe going back in time would be a better option. But that's a story for another. What if the dimension of time was no different from the 3 dimensions of space we live in? What if you could travel to the past and to the future, the same way you can move right or left, up or down? Would you be able to change the past? And if you did, would it create a time paradox? What kind of time machine would you need to build anyway? This is What If, and here's what would happen if you could travel through time. How many times have you wished you could jump in a time machine and skip that boring meeting? Or choose a better comeback in that argument last week? Time travel sounds like some wild fantasy that only happens in sci-fi movies, but we're actually traveling in time every day. Albert Einstein found that time is not a constant, but is continually moving forward, and we're moving forward with it. According to Einstein, time is the 4th dimension. Together with 3-dimensional space, it's fused into a single 4-dimensional continuum, space-time. If you think of traveling in space, moving upwards is a bit of a challenge, unless we get on a plane, or at least take the stairs. So maybe we just haven't come up with a proper machine to travel in time yet. Theoretically, building a time machine is possible, but it wouldn't look like this, or like this. Rather, more like this. Because the secret to time travel isn't in some exotic form of matter, what you'd need is a spaceship that could travel almost as fast as light. Einstein's theory of relativity taught us that the faster we move through space, the slower we move in time. Let's assume you were in a spaceship, traveling at 99.9% the speed of light, to a potentially habitable exoplanet some 40 light years away. You find some primitive life forms and speed back to Earth to share your discovery. But when you finally make it back to Earth, you discover that all your colleagues are now very, very old. From your perspective, you'd only been gone for about 2 years. For people on Earth, you'd been gone for 80. This phenomenon is known as time dilation. It's not likely to happen to you though, because traveling at the speed of light isn't quite possible with the technology we have now. The fastest piloted vehicle we've ever created, Apollo 10, reached a speed of 11,000 meters per second. The speed needed for time travel is somewhere near 299 million meters per second. On top of that, accelerating at that speed would cause an enormous centrifugal force, a force that would rip you apart before you came anywhere close to light speed. But hey, we still have wormholes. Einstein predicted that these theoretical tunnels link two separate places and two different times, a shortcut to another universe and another time. The problem with wormholes is they're extremely tiny, just a billion trillion trillionths of a centimeter across. No human would be able to fit through. I can barely fit in my jeans from last year. If only we could capture a wormhole, we might be able to enlarge it. Imagine a giant tunnel above the Earth leading to another planet. And theoretically, if we put both ends of a wormhole in the same place, but in different times, we could step into a wormhole and come out in the distant past. But wormholes have their issues. They're very short-lived, and traveling into the past would create paradoxes, like the one in which you go back in time and convince your grandmother never to get married. Then your grandmother doesn't give birth to your dad, and he doesn't have you. But if you didn't exist, who went back in time to talk your grandmother out of marrying your grandfather? Time is linear. It only goes forward. For that reason, we can only travel into the future, not to the past. In fact, astronauts that spent about a year on the International Space Station are now living in the future compared to us. Even though it's just 13 milliseconds in the future, they're proof that traveling in time is possible. And maybe wormholes could open up a whole different world, where the laws of physics work in different ways and traveling to the past is possible. Would you dare step into a time machine not knowing where it would take you? And if you had the choice, where would you go and when?
Okay, let's just give ourselves a break. You watched 3 incredible videos. And now let's just ask you, this is the time to ask you to tell me about your opinion. Once you just took those notes, now we just talk and discuss a little bit. So, what notes that you take so far and what would you like to say about them? Can I travel by time? Can I go back? Can I manage my time again? I want to hear your notes because I give you the time to take notes. I said that we are going to watch those movies. You took those videos, taking your notes, and then we're going to discuss. So just hear back from you. What did we learn from those videos? Interesting, right? Okay. So what I'm going to do, now we talked about time management, and we said we have to go through the time management for our own self, for our individual contributors, and you are going to lead yourself to be improved efficiency, productivity, less stress, more success in your life. And you will relieve the stress by allowing yourself to be more flexible, getting things done. You have no overload tasks, no overloaded tasks, and then you have more time for your own self to achieve whatever you want to. Having this extra time to spend in your daily life is a blessing. Why? Because you have already managed effectively your previous time and you enjoyed or you're being blessed, alhamdulillah, by more time. And then you have more opportunities. Then when you kaizen your time, when you know your trivial activities, then you can have more opportunities, extra source of resource, maybe an income, and bringing back the time to realize your goal. And we said it's not only my goal in life is one goal, could be different goals, and of course they should be smarter goals that we'll talk about them tomorrow. And at the same time, that I will be an organized person with my values. No one will take a bad advantage of myself. I know what I want. I know how should I bring whatever I want. I know my, wisely I can prioritize my things according to my important and urgent and not urgent, or not important but urgent tasks. And sometimes I will be more able to reduce those and take off those non-urgent and non-important tasks. Believe me, replacing the see, in social media, you are the one who is exposing yourself to all kind of information. But when you want specifically the thing that you are going and you are looking for instance, you'd like to learn Turkish, you'd like to learn any language, okay, for instance, now you're going to filter those videos. This is you, this is your scope. You demand this type of knowledge, so you will proceed that. Believe me, when you want and you go through what you want, that not only help you in your life and time management, but also it will work and robust immune system of your psychological immune system. You will be tough, not tough in terms of being, I'm not saying that you become a cruel person, no, but you will be more creative in terms of emotions. So emotion, creativity, and intelligence at the same time. So you will complete your task, and you have breaks between your tasks. While you're having those breaks, your mental and your physical health will also be, inshallah, fine. And then you can remove those non-essential tasks or activities that you find them not necessarily to your life. And your repetition at the same time, it will be a good repetition that, mashallah, everyone now praise you. They talk good about you. Before they were trying to, talking bad things about you, and so far and so forth. Why? Because you had too many things to do. But now you know how to cook your big fish. So yeah, all of them are very important for us, but the most important thing is to understand how to say no and act like you're going to office. Prepare yourself each day. In order to have an efficient time, sit up, write down your to-do list. And I'm not the person who's actually with to-do list a lot, but this is strategy work for some people. But other people would like to go through mind mapping. Other people would like just to draw things in front of them. Other people would just like to put their priority matrices in front of them and define your work hours. Okay, if I have like 8 hours, for the first hour, what should I do? Or first 15 minutes, what I have to do, and then later off, what the very first thing, should I check the email? Should I talk to an employee? Ask myself. And then, believe me, if you make your office tidy, organized, with beautiful colors, with good smell, you organize everything in front of you, where you have a space for A4 paper that is empty, and your laptop or your PC, and you are filtering or you are kaizening the place, the regimen, the eating habits, all of them all together. Here you will find yourself being more able to manage the time, or actually you not only more able to manage the time, but there will be a blessing in your time. So put some boundaries between you and with other colleagues if they're wasting your time. And maybe by practicing more hobbies or painting or whatever, you will feel happier. You will feel that you've been driven to do things because you want to do them. You have to try, and then once you try, you get out from your comfort zone. You will figure a new world. You will explore. That is also good for your own self. So, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, it's your way. How are you going to manage your time? But we talked about how to wake up an early morning. What should I do? And figuring out how currently I'm spending my time is very important, because if I understand where am I right now and where I want to be, and what I am doing right now, and then I again, after 2 hours or after one day, after I wrote down what I'm right now doing and what are those activities that I'm spending my time on, after 2 days or after 2 hours or after one day, you will read it again, and then you will constructively criticize or bring changes on that. You will judge what is right, what is wrong. You will lead yourself. And then you will create your daily schedule and stick with it. And then after that, you will start prioritizing everything wisely. And when you work in similar tasks with other people who are with the same task, like teamwork, that will also help you, because it's not only alone. You're not alone anymore. You have other people who are pushing you, or you are pushing them. So I take and I give. It's not just I'm taking or I'm just giving. We have to have some balance. And then avoiding to argue uh, those people who are wasting your time, your energy, your effort. Assigning time limits to those tasks is a good beginning, a good starter for those people who don't know how to do or how to finish this task. If I put 10 minutes, I might feel that I'm not able to do, because this 10 minutes is nothing. I feel panic. But if I'm that person, if I'm going to give myself 15 minutes, maybe that will be a good enough of time that will work for me. So, ladies and gentlemen, the last and very important thing is to say no. Understanding how should we say no, but it's not like straightforward no, but it is somehow when someone is asking you to do something, you might say, all right, I will think about it and I will let you know. Let me check my schedule. I will get back to you. See, in this way, my sister is talking while I am busy to go to a mall just to be with her, or my friend, or my brother, or my wife, or something that is not necessarily to me. Then I have to say, okay, I will think. I have a big fish to cook. Inshallah, I will let you know. So when I say in this way, that means that there is an option to say yes or no. But immediately, if I say, okay, 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 by time, even your sister, your brother, your colleague, your friend will get a little bit upset, because they got used by you all the time to hear yes, okay, definitely, sure. So when you say something new, it will be a big surprise for them. And understanding that it is not an obligation to you. If it is an obligation, then you have to fulfill it. If it's a priority, then you have to go through it. If it is not, if something extra, then in this case, you know that you're not, you're not supposed to do that. Let me share this slide with you. I will explain. Don't take life too seriously. Yeah, that is true. As reality as an illusion. Perfect, Mojan. And we talked about that even yesterday. Like sometimes I'm assuming something that in fact it is not there, but it is me, the one who assumed that. See, ladies and gentlemen, there are things in my life that they are important and urgent. I have to know what are those things. Maybe once you arrive at your work, you have to check emails. This is important and it's very urgent. All right, so I have to start with that. While I'm at work, maybe I received a call from the school there saying that, God forbid, your son was playing and by mistake he fell down and he injured himself, and now he's in a hospital. So see, this is an emergency case. Here, your son come first, even though that you're at work, because now you had something that is really important and urgent. Here's your priority. Then you have those things that are really important but not urgent immediately. So what should you do it? You should plan for it and do it. Number one priority, what is important and urgent, do it right now, immediately. You cannot delegate it to anyone else. But in case if it is important, and again, it is not urgent, you have to schedule it. You have to work on it. If you are procrastinating that task all the time, you will find yourself in a step that task now is urgent and important, and you have to do it immediately. For an example, we said if you have a report to submit and you kept delaying that, at one point you will find yourself in that situation that you have to submit it immediately. and laziness won't help you at that time. All right. Now, there are tasks that might be urgent but not important to you. See, this is a delusion. This is the matrix where you fell in. How? Maybe a colleague come to you and say, please help me. Very, very important. ضروري ضروري الله يخليك ضروري ضروري ضروري. Very urgent, very urgent. Do this for me. You feel that this, see, it depends from situation to situation. You will feel that you have to do it immediately, and this is something that is extremely important. Well, it is urgent, but it's not extremely important. You feel that is extremely important, but it is not. Are you with me? So in this case, if you're able to help, do. If you're not able to help and you have other big fish to cook, then what do you mean by having big fish to cook? If you are busy, if you have other tasks to do, then please apologize diplomatically. For instance, you might, by your own self, you're a person who has a good heart, a white heart, who would like to help everyone. And when people are just coming to you, you immediately forget about your tasks and help them. And then at the end of the day, your supervisor will, and you know what will happen, the scenario between you and your supervisor who's trying to blame you, and he will make a report on you because you're late. So in this case, please learn how to apologize from other people, or delegate, or help them, but help them when you're able. Again, help them when you're able. Don't be selfish, right? We talked about curse of knowledge yesterday. But if tasks are just coming to me directly and immediately, and they are important and urgent out of nothing, I know that that will become priority number one, though that you have other things to do. And here we stick. So number one, I have to speak. Number two, I shouldn't rush myself. There are people who actually are facing the emergency syndrome. Have you heard about emergency syndrome? Have you heard about emergency syndrome? Yes? No?
Not really, no.
No.
No,
All right.
no.
Emergency syndrome is whatever I ask you to do, you feel it is urgent and immediately. Most of people who are with OCD cases, they are facing this emergency syndrome. Last time I met a lady, you know, from my sessions, I mean psychological sessions and counseling sessions, I found a lady who immediately do anything that is asked and required. If I tell you that I want you to cook maybe fish for dinner, then directly at the moment she's running to cook the fish, and she is under stress, panic attack, that ya Allah, I have to do it right now. Oh, everything is late. What should I do? I'm stuck. Oh, I don't know what to do. What is this life? Ya Allah. And so far and so forth. If your boss is calling you and telling you that tomorrow we might have a meeting about something, and maybe people are visiting us, then that is tomorrow, not now. So why you're just putting yourself in this illusion that, oh, I have to prepare myself right now. Oh, I did not do anything. I have to immediately go. Or maybe your mom asked you to bring or to buy bread for today. It is okay. That is at lunch, not immediately. So there are people, which is good, a sign for some of people who are lazy. This is a good practice for those people who are lazy to start practicing it one by one. But for those people who are actually struggling with these severe cases, then of course they have to go through other programs. They have to go through other ways of treatment and I mean relaxation. This is very important. So yeah, the fact is there are managers who are having this and when they are managers, it's even the worst. If they have this emergency syndrome, they won't wait for you. They ask you to do anything, but immediately right now, with no patience. After 1 minute, if I ask you, for instance, that I want a tea, so within 30 seconds I want this cup of tea. But first of all, you have to heat the water, you have to bring the tea bag, and you clean the mag. Definitely you wash the mag. So it might take from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, even to 5 minutes. But no, right now, after 20 seconds, why are you late? Those people who are struggling with this syndrome, and not only their life is hell, but they're turning other lives also to hell. So we have to understand that this illusion, it's our own imagination. Take it a little bit slow, easy peasy. Life is still beautiful. You can do it. Okay, you're able. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhalation, exhalation. Now you're fine. Right. The last priority, though, is for those tasks that are neither important nor urgent. As you mentioned, social media, maybe talking or gossips with your neighbor, colleague, a friend. Stop it. You can do it. Okay, not immediately, but at least try to ignore it. Why don't you do an exercise to hide your cell phone for 1 day? Have some detox, social detox, experience those detox. I mean, we had this experience that we lived 2 weeks without the internet. And you can't imagine how beautiful it was. I know it is really hard. Internet is essential, like oxygen, because we believe on that. This is again placebo or nocebo. But when we tried that, the family gathered together. They said, okay, during the pandemic, we just stayed at home, but still we had our devices in our hand. We were Googling things. But when we tried to stay 2 weeks without the internet, it was amazing. We went back to those old and ancient and golden days. We talked, we cooked, we exercised, we went through journeys, we did so many things. It was quite, some of us felt a little bit upset that we won't be able to enjoy our shows. But believe me, it's worth to have the experience at least for 1 day. So what if I'm going to go through the social detox? That is something, it's not necessarily, especially if that is not the resource of money for your life or an income resource for your life. So go through, give yourself a try for whatever you find that, okay, I'm able to do it now. I'm ready mentally. I'm ready for that. I will go. I will be with the actions. I will be obligated. Then you will enjoy the journey. A kick. Now, it's time to watch and enjoy something new. Thank you for taking notes. After this video, I will ask you about your opinion. What would you like to add? Your experience, your stories. The more that you participate, the more the bonuses that you will have, inshallah.
In today's era, we wake up to more emails, calls, and chat conversations than ever before. When we're at work, we have an obligation to appear busy by making sure we respond to all these incoming requests. But it can often leave us with a feeling of dissatisfaction with our own productivity. It's all too easy to be stuck in a blindfold mode of procrastination by handling items we think are urgent but never important. Maybe you end up spending your whole day in your email inbox trying to get to inbox 0. Or maybe you get all your errands done, but not that book you've been wanting to write. The point is, for most people, it's often difficult to establish a clear boundary in knowing what we should be working on and what we find ourselves doing. If you often feel a lack of accomplishment at the end of your work days, then you might benefit from a little-known method to add to your mental toolbox. Eisenhower was perhaps one of the most larger-than-life figures to hold the office of President of the United States. Prior to becoming the 34th president, he attained the coveted rank of 5-star general in the US Army, where he played a major role in planning and executing invasions against the Nazis in Africa, France, and Germany itself. While president, he managed to launch the Interstate Highway System, as well as launching NASA, DARPA, and more. Throughout his life, he managed to remain incredibly productive, working his way up the ranks to eventually become the president. His productivity has been extensively researched, and by far one of the most useful strategies he's credited for devising, is now known as the Eisenhower box. It's a simple method to help you avoid procrastination and prioritise what you should be working on. Here's how it works. You create 4 different boxes with the following categories: urgent and important, tasks to do immediately; important but not urgent, tasks to schedule later; urgent but not important, tasks to delegate to someone else; neither urgent nor important, tasks to eliminate. This simple exercise teaches you to quickly identify the importance and urgency of tasks on your plate and to separate them accordingly. It's often easy to unintentionally procrastinate by doing tasks ourselves, which could have been delegated or eliminated altogether. We all have our own method of task management, whether you use a notebook or one of the many to-do list managers out there. None of them really incorporate the Eisenhower method, because tasks grouped into 4 separate boxes isn't an efficient, or pretty, way to work with the items on your plate. However, it's not the act of placing tasks into separate boxes that is necessary, but the skill of recognizing when you're in a situation that requires you to prioritize the tasks which demand your attention to avoid procrastinating on them. I found the method to be most helpful when dealing with an overabundance of work, when the amount of tasks is overwhelming. Taking a few minutes to arrange and prioritize your tasks according to the logic of the Eisenhower method can be quite helpful. You could use something like an app to truly have a virtual Eisenhower box, or even download a printed copy to fill out with a pen or pencil. Another method is to incorporate the overarching philosophy into your workflow. If you don't already prioritize the items on your to-do list on a daily or weekly basis, I'd highly recommend you try it out for just a week. Just make a mental commitment to yourself to plan out your workday in your calendar by scheduling the time you'll work on certain tasks, or prioritizing the items on your to-do list from top to bottom. In my own workflow, I'll review all the items on my plate at the beginning of each day. I'll assign the important and urgent tasks with a P3 red priority level, meaning I need to work on them first. Important but not urgent tasks might get a P2 orange priority, while the smaller urgent tasks will be assigned a P1 yellow priority. Another useful strategy taught by this method is that it can help make sure you ask the right questions. Not every task is important enough to demand your time and attention. For example, it's often helpful to look at all the work you do and then ask yourself which tasks have a direct effect on the amount of money you bring in. Establishing a mindset of differentiating the most important tasks on your list can isolate the ones you don't need to do. For those tasks I don't need to do, I'll move them to a trashed folder in my to-do list app. Whereas if it's something an assistant can do, I'll move it to a delegated folder and let them take it over. Using methods like the Eisenhower box or even your own prioritization system is by no means perfect. The most difficult part of any process always comes down to execution. Maybe we ignore the important tasks and focus only on the urgent ones because we truly believe in the moment that it's the most important thing to be working on, only later having a feeling of regret that we didn't find any time to work on that big project today. Prioritizing tasks in any system requires concerted effort and self-discipline to follow your own rules. If you find yourself still working on the wrong tasks, then you might need to time box the important tasks or schedule them into a specific part of your day. For example, if I have a deadline coming up in a week for an article I need to write, it's easy to get overwhelmed thinking about all the research and writing I'll need to do. The best way to make progress, while still giving myself the time to handle the urgent tasks, is to schedule it in for a small period of time in the days leading up to the deadline. As with anything we find resistance towards, it's easier to overcome the inertia of getting started if it's reduced to smaller chunks of time.
It was a helpful video. Let me ask you, what was the time, or tell me about your experience. Tell me by voice, your experience, where you struggled a little bit and then you figured, aha, this is the time that I have to work once again in my time in a way that I contribute more, I'll be productive more, I will be more, determined where should I go? Whether you were a student at work, let us hear about your experience. When did you start first planning for your time? Do you actually plan, or do you just keep planning that in your brain? Well, I'm pretty sure that you'd like to talk about the video, those steps that you already went through it. But let us just hear from your experience. Please proceed. Yes.
I can give a personal example.
Yes, James.
For example, at the start of last year, I started to play or to learn classical guitar. It's something that I wanted a long time ago, but I never had the ambition to start. Now, curiously, I had the ambition from finishing a video game that had a guitar player. But in any case, I found out that small practice. I mean, continue consistent practice every day for like 1 hour or even half an hour a day is more than practicing 8 hours every 7 days, say in a weekend that you're trying to recover. So
True.
I'm familiar with small things that lead to greater uh, value or this. Um, and this is something that when you do consistently, you no longer view it as a procrastination. It already enters your habit.
Perfect. 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 Yeah, Jagus, absolutely. See, you mentioned something that is, and it should be written with gold water. See, Jagus talked about Kaizen in a way that continuously I have to improve it little by little, but little by little, but continuously is even more better than doing the thing a lot of that at once. Like we say that in Arabic, قليل دائم خير من كثير منقطع. I do it little by little, but always that is even more preferable than doing one thing, having the passion to. But later off, I'm just stopping that. For me, I have to cover our department plan weekly, such as safety plan for this week. Perfect, perfect. What you're doing, mashallah, this is in your gene. I hope that you can have the access to log in from another device, and let's just hear from you, Mr. Yusri. Perfect. Thank you, Dragos. Let's just hear from another person who would like to tell us about their stories. So see, when you change the place, it will help you. Like sometimes I want to do so many things, but when I go to a coffee shop or to a library or to another place, I pay a visit to different places rather than my one or only my home. The power of the place, the impact of the place also play a vital role in your brain. And then you feel, there's another life that I have to explore. It's not only my life, it's not only my room, it's not only my place. There are other things, and you will be more encouraged to do that. But the first step is really, really hard because you need to change the habit, the laziness habit that we have. And then again, you will get a little bit lazy. But once, twice, 3 times, I talk to myself, I convince myself, I beg myself, please, myself, help me. And then later off, you will find that that is in your gene. That, mashallah, now you became even stronger. You are the one who is leading yourself, not the brain is leading you. It's you, the one who is giving the access to brain to do those things that you actually want to do. Okay, who else would like to talk about his experience or give us advice how actually he or she plan for the day and manage the time so they are more productive and at the same time helping other colleagues?
Hi.
Hello, Afnan.
Hi. Actually, for me, at the beginning, good morning.
Good morning.
And for me, actually, I like to plan before sleep. Before getting sleep, I like to plan what I will do, and I like to prepare my plan. So I will prepare what I will wear, what my daughter will wear for nursery, and what she will eat, and what I will eat for breakfast, and when I will do my exercises, and even يعني, if I have some tasks at work, they said يعني, for example, you can finish it at the end of March. I like to finish it in the same week that I get it, because I do not know what I will do tomorrow, and or what could happen tomorrow. So I like to be in safety side. So I like to finish everything before the due date. يعني for example, like yesterday you said send an email as a homework, what you learned, yes?
Yes.
And yes, I immediately I send it, because I do not know what will happen tomorrow, if I have meeting or I have some task, or I will be sick or busy or anything. So I'm trying to finish it immediately. Yeah, this is my plan always. Yani the external task, we have to finish it immediately to avoid any mistakes or lates or any problems.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yes.
So you're driven yourself, Afnan. You are a mom, right?
Yes.
So mashallah,
Yes.
you know what do you want to do in your life, and everything is organized not because of miracles. It's because you were the one who moved, you were the one who changed your brain, you were the one who changed your your mentality, your ways of thinking. Can you tell us about the point that you find yourself that you struggled? I mean, of course any change, not necessarily, but most of the time there is a story of pain that you find yourself, oh, now this is the time that I have to change, and this is the time that I have to pay for those days that I was missing what I wanted, right? So tell us about, when did you figure that, no, I have to do things immediately because I don't want to have a lot of chunks later off?
Yes. Actually, look, uh, after delivering my second baby, I had some negative energy, and I gained some weight, and I was so negative person in the world.
You were, you mean the depression after post-delivery?
I don't know if is it or it's what I because of
اكتئاب ما
hormones.
بعد الولادة.
لا ما أظن هذا.
All right.
No يعني because maybe because I'm active person, and you know, when baby come, you have to take care of baby, you have to, يعني we cannot sleep early, or in a good we do not have a good time to sleep. Yes.
Yes.
So this is will affect in your feeling.
True.
And after that, I gain a lot of weight, and I lose my health, I lose my hair. So that it was the point that I have to change everything. خلاص. So I start first. I drink 3 liters per day water, and I'm doing exercises every day, or 4 days per week. And because you know what, the exercise sports will give you a positive energy that to think about the next plan for the rest of the day or the next day.
Perfect.
And if you feel sad or angry from someone, it's better to do the exercises, because all the angry force will go in the exercise, and you will feel peace. And you know, when you feel peace and your heart is clean from the negative energy, this is will be in your face. Everything will see it in your face, you know. And before, when I was negative, everyone said, what, now, why you are like that? You are very old woman, why are you doing like that? And really, it was in my face. Yes. And now, after that time, it was in June 2021 2020, sorry, 2020, yes. In June, I said, خلاص, it's time to change. And this has become clear. يعني everyone can see it on my face. I changed my lifestyle. And if I feel angry, I will do sports. And if I feel angry also, I will put all this energy and work to finish it early.
Perfect.
And yes, also, if I feel angry sometimes because of hormones, I like to avoid talking, because sometimes when you feel angry, you will say something bad to someone, and I don't want to hurt someone. Yes.
Yes.
And the second, the one of the things that I like to do is to find the peace. If you find the peace, your life will be fine. Yes. يعني sometimes someone will be angry and he will shout at your face. Don't be angry immediate. Just understand him, and it's okay, خلاص, it's okay. I will leave. This is what I'm doing always. يعني if I challenge him or I challenge her, here will be a big problem. We will make a big problem. But if I leave, that means يعني I didn't quit, but خلاص, let us finish that.
Perfect.
خلاص. Yes. So sometimes I'm doing these things, even if I feel يعني angry. I feel the angry is the most thing that we have to avoid it. Believe me.
Perfect, perfect. Afnan, I am really delighted. I thank you so much for sharing your experience, and I encourage everyone like what you did. See, we learned a lot from your experience. MashaAllah, Miss Afnan is now trying to tell us, and she did actually. She's not just only trying. She said, and she told us that being smart and emotionally intelligence is very important. It's not the matter that you have to win every and all battles. No, your actual real victory is when you know where should I speak, where should I stop. And the way that she is actually leading her emotions, I mean, even feeling angry, it's a good sign. When you want to lead your emotions, I will let this anger lead me to so many problems, or I am leading. So she is the one who is leading her anger because she feels that energy, but at the same time she's the one who is driving that. She's deciding. She's the lady of her own decisions, of her own life. She won't let anyone to manage her thoughts. She had found her inner peace, and she's more sympathetic to other people. Yes, that is perfect. All right. Now for break, inshallah, at 10:30, I will give you the break. It will be from 10:30 to 11. If you need the break right now, then it's okay. So in this case, you have to be before 11. So that will be from 10:22 to let's just say 10:52 in this case. If you let's just take the break right now. Afnan, thank you so much. Believe me, I give you 10 bonus for this. It was inspirational for all of us. See you inshallah at 10:52, 53.